Hello, everyone, and welcome to the MySpace podcast. I'm your host, Miley, and today I'll be reviewing the book Prisoners of Betrayal by Berlyn Hayes. This is book number 3 of the Heirs of Secret series, and it's the last one currently out, and I have to wait for the last two. I may do it when they come out. I may do it until both of them are out. I don't know. I really need to start looking to make sure series are complete and just regular books just look like they're one because they could be series. So yeah, but it's just hard because then you have to wait, and I'm like, I don't want to really wait, but here we are. But it's okay because I can go read other books. Anyways, let's get into this video about this book. So yeah, rating. I give this book an 8 out of 10. It was just kind of hard to get through, especially in the beginning. I don't know. It's just I didn't want to read. Maybe it's because I'm always reading, and sometimes I just need a break. But also, like, what else am I gonna do? Oh wait, I do have something I should do, and but I don't. And I was gonna start doing it, but things messed up those plans, and then also just me reading when I was supposed to be working on it. But anyways, it was just hard for me to get through. I'm still confused about everything while simultaneously just like not being confused. I'm kidding. I'm still confused. It's more I am confused while simultaneously being very engaged in this book. So confused but also very engaged. And I got very nervous about that ending because something was mentioned and I was like, don't do this to me. Please don't. Anyways, I was going through it. Still kind of am. I still don't really know half the things that are being talked about. Don't really care anymore. There are a lot of things that don't add up or really make sense, and I need more of like an explanation to them. So, somebody please give me an explanation because I'm kind of dying here. Just need to know. Plot/storyline now. Okay, this is actually kind of short because, yeah. So starting this story off, Hero and Sorelia make their way to Duherta. I hate names of places. Anyways, this is the place, the kingdom of. Hold up, I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna say. So, this is the kingdom that she was previously engaged to before Casimir. So this is where she would have gone if the whole engagement with Casimir thing didn't happen. So they went there in hopes of getting the king and queen on their side to help them fight against the Red Herring and Glazer. Cass and Syl follow them that way, as they realize, Cass realizes that is probably where Sorelia is headed, and they were also too late to save her at Jasmine Palace, so they're trying to go and find her to, help save her. So Sorelia and Hero make it to the kingdom, to the palace, but the king and queen are already under the Red Herring, so their plan didn't work. Also, we realize who the Red Herring is. Cass comes to save her, he gets captured as well, and then after a lot of torture and pain, they finally escape with the help of Syl and Hero. That also took up a whole chunk of the book, too. I just don't want to go too deep into it, because that's basically... It was basically torture. It was more her being tortured, but they were honestly kind of both being tortured, so... You gotta read it to understand. I may talk about it a little bit later, though. So, then they have to come up with a plan to get the crown. Because the crown, when the High King is wearing it, Cass is the High King, so when the High King is wearing it, it boosts their power up and gives them a lot more power, and the crown also has a lot of other hidden things in it. So they need the crown, because they need the crown to help stop the Red Herring, because the Red Herring is super powerful. Why is it always that the villain is super powerful, though? Like, I know, like, the villain needs to be super powerful because then, like, what's the whole point? Because, like, you can just take him down, but also, like, oh my god. Anyways, that plan goes sideways. Ceralia's part does work out, at least mostly. And then so to get the crown, they also have to go back to Deifier Palace. I may not be pronouncing that right. I don't have the name in front of me. So, yeah. So, Ceralia figures out that it's going to go wrong. So she gets there after everything goes wrong, basically. Anyways, that whole part turns into a battle. And it ends with the rooms to do the rituals in gone. So those rooms are gone. So you can't really perform the ritual. But also, they already knew that things weren't going to work out. And the ritual wasn't going to be placed. So they just didn't think that the rooms would be completely destroyed. So, yeah, and because the ritual can't be done, the curse or, like, enchantment that surrounds Black Scar will break in only a couple of days. I will talk about Black Scar later. That may not be the name of it because I didn't go check. I feel like I did this in the last video too. I should check because I can't read things correctly. Anyways, they have to get ready for battle because, yeah. Because this whole battle it's gonna be like the big battle with like the worst monsters ever. And then Glazer will wake up. He does wake up. I don't say why him will. Then they do end up getting the protection enchantment back up, which they can only do with the sacrifice. Talk about that in the spoiler section. Then some other things happen, which I was gonna like throw my tablet at the wall because I didn't want those things to happen. This is what I was talking about in the rating part. Happened in one book and I didn't want to happen again in another book. It's okay. Anyways, that's basically what happened. Basically captured, freedom, battle, bigger battle. And then slightly good at the end. Slightly. Next is Ceralia. We'll go to her. She's way more powerful than anybody thinks. Like, she's more powerful than she thinks. And I'm really hoping that her powers will evolve in the next book. Like, I like how everyone has to, like, practice to get more powerful, but, like, I really want some, like, I don't like it when people just automatically have, like, amazing powers and know how to use them, because it's annoying, but I'm really, really going to the fact that I really want that to happen. Like, I just want there to be, like, this, like, click, and she's gonna, like, be able to use her powers in a crazy amount. But I don't think that will happen. Which, honestly, it's okay, too, because she's already super powerful, and she hasn't been practicing for that long, so she hasn't been practicing as long as others, and she's done some very powerful things. She went through a lot, like being tortured by someone because they were trying to break her mind for multiple reasons, having her brother separated from her, then worrying about him not dying later in the book. There are reasons that she was way more worried about him than she would be. Not gonna disclose that information though. And then she was also worrying about Cass, because she didn't want to lose him. Yeah, she was going through it. Yeah, and just her powers, I think there's more to them than what we know at the moment. Same with Cass. I think there's powers is one of their prodigies and powers that's like one thing that is kind of confusing me. So it's one of the confusing parts. I'll get into it because I'll go in a whole thing about it later in the spoiler section. I remember writing about that. Anyways, to Casimir. So he's very protective of her and doesn't want to lose her, which he got her back and he doesn't want to lose her again. And the whole torture thing because he had to sit and watch there without he couldn't stop it either. So that's got to deal with him. And he He doesn't want to see her hurt again. Yeah, he's like, he's gonna sacrifice himself for the world. So he's going through it too. They were all going through it. Also, there was more about his powers as well that are going to come up. Like, it was mentioned that he had more power. So, and there's also more about the crown, because the crown has so many other things that it could do. So, that will come up later. And honestly, I'm just like, tell me already what these powers are going to be. Just tell me, please. I want to know. Just being impatient. I love them. He is hilarious. And he's always making jokes. I just love his jokes. I love his jokes. It's so funny because like every time you see him, he makes a comment. But I'm so scared that he's gonna end up dying at one point, because you know he's like one of those characters. He's like the lovable side character, and they always die. I won't make it through his death. There's a bunch of people I won't make it through their deaths. Enze? Not a lot about him in this book, because he wasn't there for most of it. He and Srayli are really good friends. I don't think we really saw how good of friends they were until this book, when they were separated for like more than half of it. His death will be another hard one if he dies. Really hope he doesn't. Abria, she's pretty powerful. I think she's more powerful than any of us really ever thought. She will do anything for her brother. I mean, anything. Even if he doesn't ask her to do it, she'll do it. She'd be another hard death. Like, she'll do anything because of how much she loves him. So, like, she'd die to save him. And he would do the same. But, like, nobody would want Abria to die because she's, like, the nicest character ever. So that'd be really hard. Also, that was my computer, if you can hear that. Yeah, go away. Which probably means that she is gonna die because she's super nice. She could be the lovable side character that dies. Anyways, okay. Glazer. Okay, because, you know, I haven't actually just said who he was. So, he's the first High King, or supposedly the first High King. I don't really know. He's a Firearch. I'm going to call it a Firearch. I'm pretty sure that's not what it said, but that's what I've been calling it forever. So, they were another Varna, but they were also immortal. Of course they are, right? And he killed all the other Firearchs. So he like did mass genocide. And I don't know why he did it. Probably just for like power and stuff. But, like, yeah. He was locked up in an eternal sleep by the Sovereign Five, which were the ancestors of all those other of the Varnas that there are. They all died to lock him up and stuff. Yeah. So to trap him in that eternal sleep and stuff and lock him there, they also, by doing that, they also locked up all the other monsters, like the big and bad, like the worst of the worst, you know? They locked all of them up in Black Scar and put an enchantment around it, you know? That's the enchantment. And Black Scar was the Firearch's home. So this is the Firearch's, like, home city, you know? Like how each of the Varnas have their own, like, city. This is Firearch's. And so, with enchantment, none of them are able to get out. Yeah. And then they have to do, the ritual has to be done by each of the Varnas to keep the enchantment up. And then we know that breaks. It was gonna break, so, yeah. Spoilers. These are pretty big spoilers, too. These are pretty big. Excuse me. These are pretty big spoilers. They will give away a lot. Okay. Let's start with the red herring, because it was not who I thought it was gonna be. I should have noticed that one of them was evil, yes. probably thought about at one point, but the red herring. It's Devery. I told you he was evil. I knew it. He was too nice. I didn't trust him, and I was right. I didn't like him. I knew he was evil. Too nice. So, anyways, his real name is like Zathe. Another name change. I know, great. And his father is Glazer. So he's a fire arc. And he's immortal. Very powerful. And, yeah. So, here's part of the things that... Actually, I should continue with what I have. So, his second prodigy is basically stealing other people's prodigies. So, he has, like, an undisclosed amount of prodigies. He's also very obsessed with Australia and loves her. So I don't know what's going on there, and I need to know what's going on there. I'm confused. And he's all like, you'll learn to love me. I'm like, I don't think that's how love works, but okay. Unless you're going to go and look at all the romance books and fantasy books out there. There's probably some that are like that, because that would be enemies to lovers. But she's already found her soulmate, so like... This also went into what I was scared about, because that happened in another book, the one I'm going to read next. Anyways, all I know is that he's going to really be the main bad guy in the next two books. He was already in, like, these three, but not as prevalent. Now he's going to be, because he's the one that they're all supposed to be scared of. Like, he's the big and the bad. Yeah. So, now to what doesn't make sense. So, it's all about the prodigies. So... in purebloods, they are the next generation of pureblood is always more powerful than the generation before. So Cass is more powerful than his parents, and blah blah blah. So that would mean that Zathe Devery is more powerful than Glazer, his father. Now this is when I'm getting confused, because he's super powerful already. And I know he's had centuries to practice his powers and stuff, the ones that he can. But he's already more powerful than everyone. And his father was too. So I'm just... Is it because there's been so much other time before this that we've missed and haven't been told about, that it's... that they've had that much time to grow? Because what the book makes it seem is that it hadn't been that long, but it may have been that long because they're immortal. So I'm confused. I'm like, because by now in the present, these other lineages, I feel like would have a couple centuries on them now. So wouldn't the powers be equal or now, and they would be able to cancel each other out? Because, like, what makes them so much powerful than everybody else? Is it just that they've had more time to practice with their prodigies? Or is it something else? I'm confused, and I really need answers, because I don't know. And I'm aware that they're immortal and that they're probably over, like, 6 centuries old, but... I'm just confused. Because I don't know... Like, I understand part of it, but also, like, I don't understand a lot of it. So, yeah. The enchantment now, because... Yeah. So, they put the enchantment back up, and now it can never come back down because they use the Aegifi. Don't know if I'm saying that right, but it's basically something that they can use to... You can use it once to re-put up an enchantment or something, but that's the last time it can be used. Which is... I think it's the last time you can use it for an enchantment or curse or something. I don't know, because I think it's going to come back later because they did something and they shouldn't have. They left it. So to use it for this type of thing, someone of royal blood has to sacrifice themselves, Like, they have to willingly sacrifice themselves, and there are only two, Abria and Casimir. Casimir is already dead set on doing it, but Abria is like, I want to do it for you because I want you to be able to live your life still, because you just found the love of your life. And Cass is like, well, you have the love of your life. And she's like, well, I've already lived with it. I've gotten what I wanted. Like, I'm happy and I'm ready and blah, 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 blah. And he's like, no, you're not going to, because he doesn't want him to die. And, well, by the end of the book, Casimir is still alive. So Abria sacrificed herself, stole the scepter from him, because that's what the Jiffy is. Jiffy. I didn't want her to die. I really hope she comes back to life. But I feel like if she comes back to life, that would also mean that the enchantment comes down again, and we can't really have that. So yeah, it's just so hard because, like, she was only, like, 17, and she still had her whole life ahead of her, and she had the love of her life too, and she didn't get to, like, live that life with him. It's gonna be hard. But she did it because she wanted Cass to be able to go live his life and be in love, because he hasn't been in love that long, and he also hasn't been with the love of his life that long, because, you know, the last book he was, like, gone. Okay, so to Cass and Cerelia. So, for a lot of the second half of this book, I was just yelling at them to get married. I was like, just get married already. Just do it. Because you never know what's going to happen next. Because they knew the big battle was coming and stuff. And you never know if, like, if they're going to survive these two battles. And I was like, just get married so, like, you'd be married. Like other characters in fantasy books have done. Maybe only, like, one of them, but... And they finally did it. I was so happy. But it was also, like, 6 hours before the enchantment broke and the whole big battle happened, but they did it. They got married, and I was really happy. So also, she's the High Queen now, and nobody knows, but Enze figured it out. A couple of them figured it out, and Enze got to use the Queen line, and I was like, great, I love this. And I was like, oh, it reminds me of ACOTAR so much. I was also talking about that book earlier, like 10 seconds ago. I love when characters get to use that, like, Queen line, or, like, you know, don't touch my wife and blah, 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 blah. You know, those things, like, that you get in the fantasy books. I love those lines. Those are so fun. However, they get married in this battle, only for her to end up losing her memories. Because Glazer's, like, breath can do that. Vapor, I don't really know, can do that to you. But then she regains those memories. And I think through the use of that pink pearl that was in her mind. Now that's another confusing thing, because it's been there for a while and it's been mentioned and she hasn't opened it yet. And I'm like, just open it already. And I still don't know what it is. And supposedly it was all of her memories. So, like, she sent it out so that, because she knew that she was going to lose her memories or something. I don't know. But Cass found it and brought it back to her, and now supposedly she has all her memories back. I don't know. And I also don't know if there was anything else, like anything more in that pink little bubble. Or, like, if there was memories in there that were missing before and she didn't know, or, you know, I don't know. It would be kind of fun if there were, but when I realized she may lose her memories, and I knew she would because it was mentioned, basically, that memories could be lost. I texted my friends, I was like, I'm not going to make it because I can't have another character lose memories, because in this other book, I wasn't here for it. I was like, don't do this to me. I can't have this done. And that's because she forgot her memories. I'm going to go, and really just because I thought she was, I'm going to go read Once Upon a Broken Heart, because... Oh, I love that book series too, Once Upon a Broken Heart. So I'm going to read that. And then there's a couple other books that I think I'm going to read because I want to. And I think the other parts of the series are out. So yeah, that's it. I'm going to try to finish this before it hits 13 minutes. on this because I'm not going to explain it. But anyways, thank you for watching and have a good rest of your day, night, week, month, year, life. Thank you and bye-bye.